Hi everyone, welcome to Bonnie Carolee Makes Cards. It has been quite some time since my last video. I have been dealing with a family emergency and I'm happy to say that it is resolved on a positive note. It feels good to be back in the craft room and even better to be in the right headspace to make cards. And just in time for a new release by Graciellie Design, Hope and Strength. This digital stamp set has two gorgeous dragonflies. I began this pair of cards by creating puffy cloud backgrounds using My Favorite Things mini cloud stencil. Working with Distress Oxide inks, I used Shaded Lilac, Wilted Violet, and Picked Raspberry for this first card. I worked on Strathmore's Bristol Smooth cardstock. The ink glides on smoothly on this paper. For each cloud layer applied, I turn the stencil. This prevents the clouds from looking too uniform and gives them a more natural look. Although admittedly, the colors that I have chosen for both of these cards is anything but natural. For each cloud layer, I start off with light pressure. As I work towards the stencil, I apply more pressure to deepen the tone. During this stenciling process, I'm careful to keep my fingers off of the panel. These inks need drying time and I want to avoid finger marks on my work. For the second card, I chose cooler colors to create the cloudy background. Shabby Shutters, Twisted Citron, and Peacock Feathers. When both panels were dry, they were die cut using a rectangular scalloped edged die. I printed the dragonflies and the sentiments on 80-pound Nina Solar White cardstock. This is the heaviest weight that my printer can handle. Both of the dragonflies were Copic colored. I tried to pick colors that would correspond with the backgrounds. This first dragonfly that I'm working on has flowing lines, but within those lines are distinct sections. I used 3 different ranges of color: violet, blue, and red pinks. For each color range, I used 3 markers, working from a dark to a light tone. The pattern of the coloring was kept the same on both sides of the dragonfly wings. For the blue tones, I used B93, 95, and 99. For the sections colored with the purple tones, I used V04, 06, and 09. The areas colored in red to pink were done with R20, 22, and 27. The coloring for this dragonfly was very simple. I applied the darkest tone to the base of each section and then just worked towards the light tone. Because I was copying what I did on one set of wings to the other, the coloring all went very quickly. And just like magic, I was done. The second dragonfly in this digital stamp set has a very different look than the first one. It is more stylized with its repeating patterns, and I thought it would be perfect to use jewel tones on. I began my coloring using blue-greens on the body. This color range, BG 72, 75, and 78, will also be repeated in the wings. I chose a citrusy yellow-green to work with the blue-greens, YG 21, 23, and 25. The coloring for this dragonfly was even quicker than the first. I didn't worry about working darker to lightest. I was pretty random, just placing color where I wanted it and repeating what I did on one side on the other. With my coloring complete, I fussy cut both dragonflies. If you have watched any of my videos when I have been fussy cutting, I always repeat myself, this is my least favorite thing to do. I have a scan and cut, why don't I use it? And the answer is, I'm afraid. I'm afraid that it won't cut it out exactly the way I want it cut out, and it will ruin what I have spent time creating. And of course it probably won't, but I just need to use it and gain confidence in it. After the dragonflies were cut out, I split the upper wing from the lower wing. The cloudy background panels were adhered to A2 size card bases made from Nina Solar White 110 pound cardstock. You may have noticed that I used a little bit of double-sided tape to hold my card closed. I often do this so that I have a nice flat surface to finish up my card. I mounted the sentiment for each card on glitter cardstock. I used a piece of thin foam strip by Stampin' Up! On the body of the dragonfly. Foam squares were used on the wings. I used a single square for the lower wings and a double stacked square to provide higher dimension for the upper wings. The sentiment was attached to the card, tucking it slightly under the dragonfly. I wanted the dragonflies to have a nice, shiny, glittery appearance, almost jewel-like. The wings were painted with Nouveau Glitter Drops White Blizzard, which dries clear. The cards were finished up with a few embellishments using the same glitter drops that were used to paint the wings of the dragonfly. And that wraps up this pair of cards featuring Graciellie Designs' new release, Hope and Strength. Thank you so much for your visit.